welcome to Missouri Star Live. I am your host, Misty Doan, and I'm so happy to be with you on this fabulous Tuesday. As usual, we have our wonderful Liz behind the camera. Hello, Liz. Thanks for being here, and she'll be sure to shout out any questions we have along the way. And I am super excited about today's little baby quilt. You can see it's this great project that is from our friends at Maywood Studios. This is a free pattern, and you can find a link to that in the description that will give you all of the details on how to make this, but we're going to walk you right through it. So thanks again to our friends at Maywood for letting us share this with you today. The pattern is called Sonoran Star, and it is made using one charm pack, and this is called Saguaro by Christina Camelli for Maywood, and it's just beautiful, as you can see in the quilt behind me.
Yeah.
And you'll also need 1 yard of background fabric and 1.5 yards of backing, and then it looks like about 1/3 of a yard for your binding. It's just a little baby quilt, so not too much, but you can see how great it comes together.
And for the eagle-eyed, yes, it is hanging sideways now.
Yes, I was just going to mention that. It's hanging sideways, but that's just because we have these special little places to hang quilts, and it just fit perfectly sideways, so I couldn't resist, you know?
And I love that a baby quilt doesn't have a direction usually.
Exactly.
Right?
You're going to lay it on the floor, let baby play on top of it, and have some toys out there or snuggle up in it. And so there really is no right or wrong way, but we did hang it on its side. So this is such an easy project. It is made using our pack of 5-inch squares. You're actually going to go through and select a few of each color to create this kind of pattern. And so what it says here is you're going to need 2 maroon, which those are these center ones that you're seeing here, 6 light green, then 8 pink or purple, and you can see it's just circling around. Then you need 10 of your teal, and back to 8 on the orange.
Okay.
So you can see that. And then you're going to pair those up with your background 5-inch squares. So from your background fabric, you're going to cut enough of your 5-inch squares to match up with those. So let's go ahead and make some of our half square triangles. So you can see here I've got one of our prints from this collection. And one thing I want to point out, I'm not sure if you can see, but it has this beautiful subtle shimmer. It is just so subtle, but it's such an exquisite detail up close. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but I loved looking at it and working with it because it's just not too much. Sometimes for me, sparkle can be a little much, but I thought this was perfect for this collection.
See, and I'm a magpie for the sparkle, so I was super excited about this shimmer.
Exactly. So let's just go ahead and flip this over to the wrong side, and we're going to draw a line corner to corner on the back of this.
And do you have any tips for when you're cutting your own 5-inch squares to make them match a charm pack?
So when I cut my own 5-inch squares, I use that as the true one.
Okay.
So that's my only tip. You have to choose one of the prints to follow. And so I opt to go with the ones that I've cut. And if you see here, my little pinked edges hang over on a couple of the sides, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to focus on the one that I cut and know that I measured it and made it 5, and I trust myself. So now I've put these right sides together, and I've got this line on our charm pack, and so now we're going to sew 1/4 inch on either side of that line, not right on it, because we want to get 2 half square triangles out of each of these. And so I have my diagonal seam tape, and I'm just going to make sure that the 1/4 inch line on that is running right along that line that we drew, so that I know my seam is 1/4 inch on the other side. And we'll just go down one side. And then we can flip our block and go right down the other. There we go. Just like that. So you can see that we've just sewn 1/4 inch on either side. Oh, I thought maybe it would show up better on that dark, but you can't see it any better there. And so now we're just going to cut right on the line that we drew. So we'll use our little ruler, and that's going to leave us our 1/4 inch seam allowance. And now we can press these to the dark side. So roll those back. we go. Now you want your blocks to end up 4.5 inches. So if you want to check and make sure that they end up that, mine looks exactly 4.5, so I'm happy with that. But if you feel the need to square up, this is where you would want to do that. So you could use your block locks, your Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers, or just a simple square ruler, whatever you have on hand, and you're going to want to square these to 4.5. Or, you know, check your measurement. Yours might measure a little big, so whatever your seams end up, you just want to square all your blocks to the same size. But for the use of this pattern, we're focusing on 4.5.
So that's a good question, Misty. If your block ends up a little smaller than 4.5, as long as they're consistent, you can just keep on going.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Say you need to square yours down to 4.25. That's totally fine. Just make them all the same. You're going to be much happier going that route than trying to fit that one that's significantly smaller into the blocks that are maybe a little bit bigger. So focus on the smallest block that you have and make everything else fit to that. It will make your sewing life much, much simpler.
Nice. Okay.
All right, so then from now, the magic of this quilt is truly just the layout. So as you can see here, we're going to start with this diamond in the middle. So let's grab our purples here. And we're going to put the same color on opposite sides, just like that. And then we're going to start building out. So I've got some of, I think green comes next, yes. So I've got some greens, and so we're going to continue it this way. I'm going to put one here. And you can see how when we start putting all of these together, all of these background pieces are going to connect because we're using the same background fabric throughout. So this one goes here.
And it makes those colors just sparkle that much more.
Exactly. Yeah. And so let's focus on this one side here, because once we have these two greens going this direction, we would actually come back and add 2 more going this direction. And you can see that kind of creates that chevron that you see on the side here. And on these sides, when we place our green, we place them touching instead of here where the background is touching. So you can see it's all about placement. And like I said, you can get the link to the free pattern that will walk you through this layout exactly, and you can follow along with what we've done here. But just know, as you're going around, your blocks are going to start circling by color. Right. And so then as we move into this next ring, the corner here, if you'll pay attention, is actually where our purple begins. So our purple will go right into that corner, and then it would continue to circle. And so you can see how quickly this pattern comes together. So Liz, do you think there's any other questions we need to cover with this?
I think this was one of the favorite kind of like what you can do with some half square triangles. I love this pattern. Love the sparkle. If you wanted to make it bigger, you could keep going.
You could keep going. You can use bigger squares.
You can change up the color placement if you like.
Exactly. This is one of those projects when I first looked at it, I didn't realize it was with charm packs. I thought it was with layer cakes, and so I thought it was this big half square triangle quilt. But you can make that.
You totally can.
You absolutely can. You can use the same method, the same layout with a layer cake and get this same thing much bigger if you're looking for a lap or a throw quilt, and you can see how quickly it comes together. That's one of the things I love about half square triangles. They just give you so many options, and they're fast. So I really hope you enjoyed this. Again, thanks to our wonderful friends at Maywood. Christina Camelli, this is a beautiful line, so gorgeous. It's called Saguaro, and this pattern is called Sonoran Star. So thanks so much, and we will see you next time.